There. Okay, it's been a few minutes trying to figure out what I'm doing here. Okay, we got the headlight area cleaned up here now, so now we gotta start running our harness to the back of the bike. So we gotta figure out what I'm gonna do. So what we do is make up a harness. So we gotta figure out our different colors we're gonna pull and what they're gonna go for and what gauge wire we're gonna need. So we know we need an idiot light for the generator. It's tan wire. It's one of these up here, so I put tan on that. See, this is yellow. Then we need a power source for those, for the headlight. So that's a 12 volt for light. So that's going to be orange. Yellow is going to be the oil pressure one. That's the wire hanging down by the primary down there. Then we got the how come we got 12 volt light again? We got a 12 volt ignition source. That's for the idiot lights, not headlight. Get confusing. We're going to need a ground wire, and then we're going to need ignition coil. We have to drop the wire halfway up to power the ignition coil. See where the wire comes out in the middle of the frame. So I'll have to pull the wire through the center of the harness right in that one spot. That'll be interesting to do. So this is a midpoint. So we have to run that wire first. It's going to be fun. And then in the back of the bike, we got the tail light stuff. So we're going to have two orange wires, which we're already using orange up here, but this is a 20 gauge, this is an 18 gauge, and these are 20 gauge. So you can tell the difference, even though they're the same color. And then we're going to need a green wire for the tail light, which we haven't used up here yet. So I think that's all the circuits. I didn't miss anything. We'll find out. So we got, there was 8 wires there altogether. So that's going to be an 8-pin connector at this point. So we went from 5 to 8. Okay, so now we got to figure out where we're going to put our connector at. So now we've got to go to an 8-pin connector. So that would be an 8-pin connector right there. And that's an 8. So obviously the containers are getting mixed up really nice. The line is getting connected. Yeah. These are males, these are females. So, go with these here. I'm trying to get rid of my mid-U number, so I'm going to use up my mid-U number. And that's a Tatro number, use that. Okay, so these are what we're going to use. Now, Deutsch has been bought out by 3 different companies now, I think, or 2 different ones. This is a wedge which jams everything in. This is your seal thing. And why do we come up with double nails? That was a good plan. Stuff gets mixed in by opening the door up, see? Like that's a 6, that started way down here someplace. That came from right there. That goes back. Male. There's a female. This takes a different style wedge, goes in there. Now the terminals that go in here, the female connector takes the male terminal, and the male terminal takes the female. I mean the male connector takes the female terminals. So go to use them, you have to remember that. Now theoretically, you put this on the hot side. Actually, I put this on the hot side because this is totally encapsulated. You can't poke into it. This one here, you got pins sticking out. The male pins, which are exposed, so you can put something that can arc it. So this should be on the hot side of the system, this is on the cold side of the system. So this is in, this is out. So this goes on the battery side, this goes on the output side. So our harness is going to be on the output side, because it's going to be coming in from here going forward. This is going to be back here someplace. You have to figure out where you want to hang this thing at, or will it bounce around back here. So somewhere back in this area is where that's going to lay. Unknown where that's really going to be. Are you breaking my clock? How'd you get way up to there to do that? Get your hand off of there. Learn how to stand up all by yourself. Okay, now we go back over here. We got to pull some wire. Like have a big spool of wire you roll around with it, I have no place for. I just put a box and pull it when I need it. Now this here is one gauge. Here's the other gauge. See a difference? Or they look the same to you? This is 18, this is 20. This is your favorite color.
I'm painting my bike paint, dude.
See the difference in the size?
Yeah, it's just a little bigger.
Just a little. Okay, so what was 18 gauge on our list?
18 gauge was...
Orange. That one. We got tan.
Tan's 20.
Tan. Got the orange already. Yellow is 20. Yellow wire. Yellow. What's next down the list? Red, 20. Red. Black and cross, that's thick. 20. And then we got a white. Means that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hey, we got 6. Yeah, it's bonus. And over here we're gonna need what? Orange and green. 20. Green.
In the corner, back corner right there. Yep.
I'm gonna get to it. I think you kind of intermixed in there. Okay, we'll need these later. So we'll put those right there on top. That's out of the way. Okay. Now we need a piece of tubing big enough to put all of these into. How big of a harness is that going to be?
Not as big as the other one was. All that crap in it.
Now this is all high performance wire, automotive grade, which means it's made to piss on, shit on, cook it, oil it, brake clean it, brake fluid, whatever you want to do basically.
Light it on fire.
Yep, I do that too. It's made to take all of it. So you got 3 wires each, that's 6 wires, so we need a harness that's this big. So that's how big of a harness I need. Now, automotive harness also has very large copper and very thin housing. So even though it's a real small wire, it has a lot of power through it. I can put twice as many of these good wire through as a crappy wire. The wire up in that spool rack over there, most of it's all crap. That's why I don't use it very much. It takes up a lot more space. It's just you can't put nearly as many pieces through the conduit. See, look, see how small the conduit that is? With the other wire, I'd have a big one like that. conduit. This is not shrink tubing. See how thick it is? See how tough it is? It's conduit. It's made to protect the wire above and beyond whatever it will do by itself. So that goes pretty easy to go in there. Okay, so we're going to use this conduit. And this is going to go in separate. Pull that. Keep that separate. Okay, now we're going to figure out how we're going to route this. I think we're going to go backwards through here. Now we can try coming up under the seat like this if you want. You see how thin we are?
Mm-hmm.
We're able to do that because we're thin. Can also come through here because once again we're thin. Have a big bulky harness. We might even be able to go into that fuel tank. Now you want a bracket, but I'm going to figure we're going to go on the outside like this. Okay, we'll work our way forward. Then you got to figure out how far forward you want to go to, and how you're going to tie it all together. Now we know we didn't got to put all these wires here, have to be connected into it. So we can either just end it right here and have all the wires going into it, or we can do something else with it. I'm thinking I'm just going to end it right there, put everything in there, and that's going to be the extent of it. Now if you're going to zip tie this to the frame, like this, see how the wires have to go a different way?
Mm-hmm.
So there's different ways of doing this. Somehow we got to hold this so it stays away from other components. And I don't like tying them to clutch cables because they get changed all the time. And we have a big wad of crap right here. So if we go like this with it, zip tie it here, the wires come out the bottom and loop back up. Problem with that is we only got this much of a loop space, so that doesn't work very well. So I think I'm just going to end it right here. It's the cleanest. Otherwise you could have more crap sticking up in the window we don't need to look at. We're going to zip tie right through this bolt hole right here and zip it right there. So it'll just end right here.
Okay.
Close enough. You come back here, we got to figure out where we want to have your wires come out at back here. It's going to go into a Deutsch connector. I don't mind having a little extra and bend it down and come back up and zip tie it to a frame. That way you got room to work on it. Or you can just cut it real short and have it right there at the end. The problem with you is this seat doesn't move, so it's hard to work around it.
Mm-hmm.
So if I leave it long and I shove it back in and zip tie it up in there when I'm done, I can pull it out and do all my wiring out here.
Right.
Shove it back in like that. Understand?
Yeah, I understand.
So I'm just going to make it long enough till you just get to it. And we just slide it back up in there when we're done, whatever we want to do. Dike's over here. Okay, we're committed. It's out of the way now. Okay, now we know we're going to be this. We know what that's going to be. We need to drop a wire out right here. It's called this one right here.
Mm-hmm.
This one's going to be coming up along the side here. You got to get over to here. Now if we go up high like this, up into here, then we have to extend these to get to here, see?
Yeah.
They're too short. So if we just pull them in a little bit closer.
So it'd be too high if we went try to go up between the seat there.
Well, I'm just going to make it as long as I can.
Yeah.
And whatever we can tie back, we'll tie back. It might not go all the way back to here, it might not go to here. At some point it's going to cross that tank. If you want to go up under the seat here, we can do that, but it's going to come straight down. You know, I just have to see what I got to work with. Like, so we only got this much length. I don't want to cut and splice and add more, so I'm just going to terminate them there. But I do need to have a hot wire from here drop out and come down to power that. So at some point I need to have that connected in the system. It's just where I'm going to drop it out at. This is going to be on this side of the coil because it's too short. If it was long, it'd be way, I'd have to put the splice way up here and cut. So the cut's going to be back here. Okay, that's going to be right there. We're going to want to drop that thing down somewhere in this area here. So to do that, we're going to put a hole in it. See the hole?
Mm-hmm.
Now the fun part, we get a white wire into there. Which is this one. Now the easy way is to poke it through here and run it back down. The hard way is to try to fish it up through this way and find the
get
spot
it
where
out.
comes out. Which is easy how I like to do it, but in this case, I'm going to do it this way. Now if I take this and do a pie cut on this, like that. It gives you a hole to come out of that's not real sharp, so it doesn't kill it as bad. The problem is when you're running all the wires back up the other way, it's going to make it more of a chance for them to jam up, which it will. I like to run all my wire in the middle of the bike to the ends. That way I can do all my termination, get all this handled over here. Hey, pull it. I get all this stuff all done, tied up, bring it back, and all I can do is cut it and put it to my connector, to my terminal strip. And because I know that's a fixed length at that point. This is a floating length until it's done. So I always like running them up this direction. And these things just sit on the floor out of the way, just kick them around, it doesn't matter. They're not roll, who cares? Okay, now this here, it's going to be pretty hard to drag through all this area because we have a couple tight spots in there. And I could run a string through here or a piece of tie wire like I did before.
Mm-hmm.
Or I can just kind of run this stuff up, and this wire is pretty flexible, so it goes up pretty good, sliding. But at some point it's going to get hard. Hopefully it goes past that bad spot there and doesn't hit it. Middle of the rack's a good place for all this stuff. So that gets out of the way.
Right where you're standing.
Yep. Almost lost the white wire.
Thought something felt weird. Here we go, here they are.
Coming out the top.
Yep.
Look at that, right through, no problem. It's hard to believe. Alright, so, a little extra. Didn't even slow down, knocked out. This wire is really smooth,
Yeah.
so it slides real nice. I don't like putting a bunch of junk on there if I don't need to, because that just makes it real slimy and dirt collects and all that. If it's all dry like that, dirt doesn't collect to it. Alright, so that wasn't too hard to do. And let's see how much smaller it is than what you had before.
Mm-hmm.
15 different pieces of crap. Okay, now this here, we're going to put a zip tie right through here and hold this right here. So let's get a zip tie for that. Unfortunately, that'll be a big long one. See if 6 would be just short enough maybe? Yeah, it might work. Usually they're like a half inch too short. Yep, see? They are. They're made to be that way. Alright, so it's going to go up there. And that'll go up there. Don't tighten it yet. Make sure it's loose so you get all your stuff finished out, what you're going to do. Okay, now we go back to doing all the termination that we got to do. Now which one goes all the way through? Remember?
All the way through?
Mm-hmm.
The red. Wait. What are you talking? All the way through to where? From there to from the battery to there?
Doesn't get terminated. The 12 volt orange wire goes all the way past. It has to go up all the way up to here.
Okay.
So this one's going to be long. The ground is going to be long because it has to go all the way into the headlight. Here, it's going to be the longest one. So we're going to pull it through longer yet. There.
Because we got to get tucked in that hole.
A lot of length there to play with. See, whatever's left over is going to be short. It's just a matter of figuring out what goes to what. We know these two are for idiot lights, and that just leaves a red one. So what's the red one for?
Power.
Power. Idiot lights. These three are for idiot lights. These two here are long. See how it separates it pretty quickly so you don't get confused?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this here is a little bit too much length. We don't need quite this much hanging here, but we can pull it back later. Okay, we need to figure out which is what. So we want this idiot light here is going to be generator. That one over there is going to be oil. So two of those legs get tied together though, but we don't know which one. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pick up two wires, one from each. It doesn't matter which one, just one of each. And another one. Where are they at? There they are. They're tagged together. These are going to get connected together. Okay, so I got one from you, one from you. Those two are connected. Okay, these are going to get twisted together like this. I'm going to put a splice on that. This is heavy duty trinket in here. This is extra thick wall, see how thick it is? And it has some sticky junk on the inside, so when you heat it up, it glues it together, so it doesn't slide. It's basically a permanent connection at that point. These are the 16 gauge ones. Should be another container of 18 gauge. Put that on the post.
Huh?
Put the camera on the post.
Yeah, I'm going to right now.
18 gauge. Okay. We're going to see if we put an 18 on these wires, which is going to be very doubtful. Yep, not going to go. So we do a 16 gauge connector. Yeah, I'm going to go over there. Alright. I got too much length on here, so I got to shorten this a little bit. Those used to be good. I'm cutting too many helicoils and bolts with them. Get my good ones. These are worthless for motor work, but they're good for wiring and other stuff. Boom. Okay. Yeah, got them as hidden as you can make them. Now these here have splits. You got to look at them for splits.
Uh-huh.
See that split right there?
Yep.
You want to make sure you don't pin it where the split is. So you could go 180 from the side where the split is. There's a split. Split's right there. Go 180 across, and that's where you crimp it. Otherwise it splits in half and then comes apart. Not a good thing. The other problem is getting in here because we have lack of space. And I can't get to it. First thing we do
What's
is,
that, Scooby?
I got more space. There we go. Look how much more room I got now.
What's the matter?
You didn't feed him any rats this morning, so he's not happy.
Gotta get over that way, huh?
You don't care, he'll just move you out of the way. Okay, unlike those wedge ones that go like this, see how it puts the pin in there?
Mm-hmm.
Puts a big hole in the back, puts a bite on that sucker, it doesn't come loose. That's what you want. Okay, we take our conduit, we probably have to use a bigger conduit. See, that doesn't want to fit up on there.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. We have to get the large conduit. There's your large one. The problem now is it might not squeeze down enough to pinch against the small wire. Okay, so this is what we're doing here. This is the ground. Let's see, we already have a ground going in the headlight. No, this is power, not ground. Dumbass. Ground through these wires. Red. Now that's going into a 16 gauge connector, so we're going to have to do something about that. So we might have to do this a couple times or even 3 times to make it stick enough. So there's a double. Double looks good. Using my pliers. Do a good pull test to make sure it's good and tight. Click it on there. Got no power. So we disconnect the power over there.
Hold that right there.
I'm gonna use a tripod. Looks good.
Yeah, Fred tells me to, and I told him, oh, I slept on the floor last night. He's like, oh, I got a motorhome you could have stayed in. I'm like, I wish I would have known that 3 days ago.
Yeah, well. You have to drive all the way down to IB though.
Hop
Okay,
on the
that
trolley.
one's connected.
Just hop on the trolley.
We pull up our slack here. See how that works.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, get the other two leads. Just your generator wire. Solid, so you don't have to worry about them split. But they won't go into that thick ass wire.
That'd be too easy.
Doesn't want it to go on there.
God. Every time.
If you quit leaning on stuff, that doesn't happen.
Well, I've been. I'm sorry, I'm just a little tired.
Go get a stool. Sit on a stool. Yeah, well, we all hurt around here too. That connected. Now this is our generator light. Generator's going to be tan. Take our tan wire, connect it. Let's see, that should be 20. All my stuff I'm using is high temperature, so I can blow it with that hot air and it doesn't melt the wire. Cheap wire will actually melt. Put the hot air gun to it. Oh, that's tight. Stop that one right there. What was yellow?
Yellow?
Mhm.
That's oil pressure.
Yeah, you're paying attention. You're not that much asleep.
My feet are killing me. That's what the problem is.
Yeah, that's normal. Back's been killing me for a week. Oh well. Be pissing one about stuff that hurts. It just means you're still breathing.
Yeah, well, some days I wish I wasn't. A lot less painful.
Yep. You always notice everybody has a really bad back or problem when it comes time to lifting and moving stuff.
I've never had any back problems.
Yeah, that's where mine hurts the most. Feet and everything else don't matter. They spend more time whimpering about how bad it is than just getting doing the job. That's easy when I just pick it up and haul it out and throw it in the damn vehicle.
I dated this girl who had a bad back. You know, she'd messed her neck up or whatever, and her back was screwed up. But then she'd sit there and dance around the house, you know, go out to the bars and dance, and,
Yeah.
and it's like,
Bad back, yeah.
no wonder your back hurts. What the fuck?
It only hurts when it's come time for them to do something they want you to do.
Right.
Pain is relative. What does hurt
Pain
mean?
has a shelf life.
What does hurt mean?
Pain has a shelf life in your body. It ain't gonna last forever.
You or the body?
Both.
Alright, that one there. Just a little extra.
Me and the body and pain. All three. Make sure that you don't yank it on those because you pull them right out of their sockets up there. Well,
That would be a problem.
rip the back of the switches right off.
Yep.
Switch right off.
It'll rip them right out of there. Okay, what's this one going to?
That is the orange one?
Yep.
That is going to the middle there on the switch.
The other orange one. Yep. Okay, so now we need an eyelet up there to connect to. Different terminal. Yep. One of these. Hopefully. There is the Phillips. Now we can heat shrink this on with I get the correct terminals for doing that too, but we've already got this up here, so we'll just continue with the same design. Quicker and easier. Make sure it fits. Yeah, it does.
I need to get a number plate to put up there to keep the water off these switches.
I don't think it'll matter.
I did have it rains in California.
It doesn't very often. We had a massive rainstorm last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had rain in 10 months, I think they said.
Oh, yeah, got quite a bit or no?
0.08.
Oh, massive. Almost an inch, huh? Or no?
Maybe it was 0.06. I forget what it was.
Almost a tenth of
It
an
was
inch.
a lot of rain. Yeah, it was really coming down. Yeah, it was
For about what? 2 hours? 3 hours?
that was over like the whole night. It was coming down hard all night long.
Huh.
Yeah, it was pretty. Had a lot of flooding almost.
Oh, the San Diego River flooded down there. All the homeless encampments.
Yeah, we had a lot of massive amounts of rain.
And you know, it's funny whenever it does rain. It seems like every year when or every couple of years there's one good rain and all of Mission Valley is just flooded out down there. The streets are down, so low.
Doesn't take much. Okay.
And then you get the dumbasses trying to drive across those bridges and
Well,
cars dying.
by their cars. Uh-oh.
What's the matter?
Dumbass didn't connect it correctly.
Uh-oh.
Hard to get good help. You know what I did yet?
What?
You figured it out? Should be pretty obvious.
Wait. You put the orange one? What other one's there? You got a red one there too, right?
No. I didn't run it through the zip tie.
Good thing you didn't tighten the zip tie.
That's right. That's why you don't tighten until you're done. Yep, I didn't run it through the zip tie. Make it nice and neat and tidy. Nobody would never know except me. Just like that bent rim of yours. How many people notice that?
Couple.
You didn't show me what we did to it yet.
No, but I could have swore those comments that they made about it were after we straightened it.
We didn't show it straightened on the YouTube.
Oh, I guess we didn't.
Required a big hammer and a big chunk of metal. Beat it into submission. Okay, yeah, that one's in there like it's supposed to be. Much better. Done sightly the way it was. So we get this one wire left. We gotta run that through zip tie too. Be consistent.
Oh.
This one's gotta go through the top of the zip tie and come back down. Too much crap in the way around here. There it goes. I can almost reach in here and get it. Don't loop it around all your cables. Unless you want to. Okay. Now what do we got?
Now we gotta cut the
Got a bunch of ground wire here that we got.
cut the ground and the light, connect them.
Is that what we gotta do? Jeez, that sounds like a lot of work. So that requires cutting, splicing. Pull the whole fucking bag out. Just to get one out. That might not even be the one I can use. Ooh, it fit on there. Betcha. Big wire, small wire. They're on there. Who made the mess over here? Jeez, people. Get good help around here. Gee, that one fits on. Okay, where do you want to cut it?
About an inch and a half, about an inch from the light.
About right there.
That's pretty good. That's a little. You think we need that much slack?
Yeah, we only got a little slack here, so. Now, see, that's cheap ass wire. See how much insulation was on that thing and how thin that wire is on the inside?
I was thinking there's gonna be more wire in there myself.
That's bigger than any of my wires here, but there's just nothing inside of it. It's like a 20 gauge or less on the inside. That is a sure sign of crappy ass wire. Go in there though. There it goes. It doesn't come out. Be careful not to melt it. Crappy ass wire melts easy. Alright, we have a little bit of extra wire through here. This way. It didn't fit.
No, battery level low, exchange battery, it says.